Hey there, this is Gary McDougall here, and I want to talk to you today about truth and illusion. And the reason why I want to talk about truth and illusion is because, and how that affects relationships, how that affects our life. Is it your truth or is it an illusion? Now, everything, we're going to act on anything that we feel is our truth. Sometimes we act and then we realize that it's not going to be happy. For an example, I had the American dream as a child. I thought if I grew up, if I just had a loving wife with children and a good job that paid a lot, I would be happy. That was my truth. And then I did it, and I got the house, got the wife, got the kids, American dream, everything, and I wasn't happy. I was happy to a point. I was doing a job I loved. I was making money doing it. I had a wife who loved me until it all didn't feel that good. So they don't teach you about key life transitions, like Barbara Handclough talks about. I recommend her to everybody. She's amazing. They don't talk about that in school, but what I really want to talk about is following your own truth. That we might have these illusions of how things are going to be better. We might think, oh, when I have that job, when I have those things in the future, it's going to be better. But is it really, or is that an illusion? And we all have to answer that for ourselves. So my truth isn't necessarily your truth. I feel like I've been guided to talk about that today. So that's my truth, and that's what I'm going to talk about. So and why I want to talk about relationships is I'm in a relationship and I have 3 children, and they mean the world to me, and they're the reason why I do this. I'm on this earth to live freely, to be alive, and to be an example for my children, and to be an amazing husband. So I plan to do that. I don't know. I don't have an illusion now how that's going to look. I just want to surrender, embrace uncertainty, and give my all, give all of my love, give all of my soul to life, get beyond the mind of what I want. I do have my wants, but to make my focus be my guide is my soul, is that higher self, God, creator, that works through me, not something that's separate, that's over and judging me, but who loves me and supports me and pushes me ahead to talk freely and help me feel alive. So if my wife and I fight, so I want to talk about the 3 stages. I am going to talk about my wife and I fighting, but I want to talk about something that my wife and I watched the other day, and that was on spiritual relationships, and it was by Alanis Morissette being featured on Oprah Winfrey, and she was talking about Harville Hendrix, who wrote this book about the 3 stages. I haven't read the book, but we've lived that book for the past, for our relationship, and she talks about the 3 stages of a relationship. I say we lived it. We don't always live the 3rd stage. Sometimes we're in the 2nd stage and we're fighting. But the 1st stage is when you first get together, it's romantic. We all know about this. It's awesome. We feel alive. We're excited. She completes me, or he completes her. And there's lots of sex. There's you go out for dinners and you have lots of time, and there's love. It's amazing. The 2nd stage, and we see so many people in the 2nd stage in relationships splitting up because we have 2 kids in school, and we hear about parents splitting up, and it's sad. It's sad for the kids. It's sad to see the people suffering. So many people get caught in the 2nd stage and stay, or they just traumatize one another. They project their fear. They project their anger. They traumatize them by just projecting and blaming. Getting into the 3rd stage is honoring the fact that subconsciously we attract each other. We attract the ones, like, why do we hurt the ones we love? Because we attract the ones that bring out the darkness in us, because the purpose of a relationship is to become more whole, is to become more alive. That's the reason why we attract those things in our life. And unfortunately, we attract the person that's going to bring out our most dark things, our addictions. That they see, and our partners will see through our addictions. They'll see through our pain. They'll see our insecurities, even if we put on a brave face or an act. So that's the gift of a relationship. And once we recognize that and stop blaming or traumatizing our partners, or blaming or traumatizing our kids, we can start owning our pain. So if our wife's not giving us sex every day like we want, or whatever, or being bitchy, or projecting their pain, whatever. We can look at our own pain or our own hurt or our feelings of rejection, and we don't have to hide, or we don't have to cover that up. We can own it. And luckily for me, not lucky because I created this. I'm a big believer that we create a reality. Is my wife is more and more she's owning her stuff. More and more I'm owning my stuff. We stop ourselves, not always. We fight sometimes, but we're stopping ourselves and getting into that 3rd stage where we're owning our feelings and saying, okay, I'm not going to blame you. I'm going to own my pain. I'm going to own that rejection. I'm going to own those feelings of feeling like a loser, or low self-esteem, or whatever, and I'm going to healing that and owning it and then getting to that place of compassion, getting to that place of love, loving yourself, loving the other. It's not always easy, but when we do that, we can get into that third stage of loving, and the third stage of where we can grow in a relationship. And then we can love one another, and then we can be giving to one another. So that's my truth now. The illusion was it was going to be great, and it wasn't great. There has been fights, there has been struggle, or it has shown me some of the darkest parts of myself. And I'm not perfect. I don't know a single perfect person on this planet, so I might as well just admit my imperfections and just say maybe there are things that still need to be healed in me, and my relationship is providing that avenue for me to walk on. I've met so many people. It was their truth that they went to ceremony, they went to meditation, they went to whatever to get away from the pain, to escape from the pain and of a relationship or of life, and they would get out of the relationship because it became painful. But when you get back into a relationship, just because it's painful over again, so the choice is either just to close off and not be vulnerable, and shut down and not live your truth, not live your love because all that pain's holding you back. Or it's finding somebody you can grow with. So luckily for me, not lucky again, I created it, but I'm grateful that I have my wife to get into that third stage, to get beyond the mind of what I want, all about my wants, and into my soul, into my body. It's about healing, it's about growing, it's about evolving and becoming more, and then giving of that spirit to life. So it's getting beyond the small mind of my wants, getting into the spirit. And then what? There's getting beyond the small fighting, getting into that big mind, and then we awaken to our spiritual powers. We awaken to our gifts, our spiritual gifts and abilities. That we have these gifts and abilities to give of ourselves. We have say, did God give us these gifts? Did we choose these gifts before birth as spirits? I don't know. That's the mystery. I feel like I did, though. I feel like that's my truth. Is I feel like I was born with certain gifts. Definitely, my sensitivity is a gift. Being able to feel my feelings is a gift, but also to sense spirit, to sense the earth, and to talk about, like, from a white person's perspective who experienced native culture, who went to ceremony, is not to talk about. I'm not going to talk about the ceremony so much, but my experience is that each and every one of us has a root chakra, and we can connect with the earth, and the earth will guide us. In the past, I talked about how Rudolf Steiner and I was saying the same stuff, and then I'd watch videos by him, and he said the same stuff, and he died 100 years ago. How could that be? As I feel like as I listened to my root chakra, as I cleaned out my body of these negative feelings, as my relationship, unearthed all this pain, and I got to that place of love, that as the chakras opened, there was life and there was communication beyond the pain in my body, that I was connected. I was connected to the spirit realm. I was connected to the earth. And as I listened to my body, as I listened to my spirit, and I listened to that big mind that is within us, I'm being guided to speak about the earth, to speak about how we should be in harmony with the earth, that we have this belief system that we need to take oil from the earth to be rich, or that we need to be billionaires to be rich. But do we really? Is that truth, or is that an illusion? And that's, I just encourage everybody to live their truth. Like, did people with billions of dollars, taking minerals from the earth and damaging the earth and dirtying the water? And I'm a part of the problem. I have oil, and I use oil in my car, gasoline in my car. So for me, it's really, I've been guided to live more simply on the earth, to strive for abundance, but to live abundantly, joyously, spiritually, give of my spirit, help people heal. Like, that's my purpose in life. That's my truth, and I have to live my truth to feel alive, to feel free. That's my heart's desire. I have to share this to encourage other people to do that as well, to raise their consciousness and to find their own truth, and to find their own, define their own truths and illusions. And relationships can so help us on that path. So just to wrap it up, this path of mine is not complete. I'm not perfect. I've never met a person that was perfect, but I am being guided to live more simpler on the earth. My neighbor has a bobcat. We're going to rip up my front yard here in the next couple of weeks and prepare the garden for turn my lawn into a garden. I've talked about that. That I've been encouraged to live this way of life, to speak this truth, to meditate and journal and do some stretches every day, and also be inspired to speak my truth, but also encourage other people to find their own truth, to find their own passion, to find their spiritual gifts and abilities, and to talk about mine, not in a way to not in an egotistical way to bring attention to me, but in an inspirational way to say that human beings are awakening right now, that as we heal our darkness and our pain, we can be more powerful and create a better world. That as we create a better world inside, that as we feel better, we start seeing that better world, we start living that better world, and we become creators to create a better world for ourselves, but also for our kids and future generations. That is all I got. Lots of love to you. I got to talk about one more thing. This past weekend, we were invited to run for the run. Yeah, it's funny. My spirit won't let me stop until it's time to stop. We're invited to run for the cure for cancer, and I talked about how we had a neighbor she's cancer free now, had her breast removed, and pretty traumatic for us to see her go through that. It must have been traumatic for her and her family. They didn't talk a lot about it, but we were there to support them and to love them. But I wasn't feeling passionate about going because I feel like, watching the Thrive movie, is it true that the cure for cancer was found? I don't know. I don't know if that's the truth. I don't know if that's an illusion, if it's a conspiracy theory or whatever. But what I know is I had cancer. It was removed by science. I'm cancer free. But I was there to support her and her soul and her family because, just to support them, just to send them love. And what I realized when we were there, we weren't there to find that cure. We felt like we were there to support the people who are suffering. So if you're suffering from cancer, if you know somebody who's had cancer, I just want to say, so much love to you, so much love to, I really feel like I created the cancer in my body. I feel like I created it through the thinking that I had. And when I aligned my thinking to my soul, when I started thinking this is how life had to be, living this illusion and just surrendering to soul and surrendering to that energy in my body and surrendering to inspiration, that I started feeling alive and feeling, when I started healing these hurts, feeling these feelings of rejection, this fear, when I started healing that stuff, my body started getting healthier. I started feeling alive again. I feel passionate about that. So we had to see that run. We had to support those people that were suffering, send them lots of love, and that's why we were there. So I'm sending you love now. If you know somebody who has cancer, if you're suffering with cancer, whatever, so much love to you. You can heal. And and if you've lost people that have died to cancer, you can heal. And life is hard sometimes, but we can heal and we can love. And that's what I'm here for. And that's my truth. So that's all I got.